Good evening, everyone. Today is Monday, June 30th. The time is now 6:48 p.m. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Stand, please.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our fallen first responders and medical and military service personnel, and for those suffering throughout the world. Thank you. On to the reading of the conduct statement.
Good evening, everybody. Community Board 11 meetings must be held in a professional and hostile-free environment. The following rules of conduct are applicable to members of the Public Community Board 11 and Community Board 11 staff. Any action or behavior that disrupts or interferes the Community Board 11 business will not be tolerated during any Community Board 11 meeting and may result in the individual being asked to leave. If the action or behavior continues, this may be considered disturbing to the peace. Appropriate authorities may be summoned. If the meeting is held remote, the person may be muted or expelled for the remainder. Repeated violations by the same person may result in further action by community board. All public speakers must address the full board and the community with their concerns. Electioneering for position of Community Board 11 is prohibited. Engaging in any acts of violence, including threats, are grounds for immediate suspension of the right to attend meetings. Pending review by the Ethics and Disparity Commission. Respect the equality, diversity, and privacy of all people by respecting and valuing differences of culture and opinion. Refrain from unpleasant and disregarding remarks and other actions. Abstain from all forms of harassment by activity discouraging it. Dismantling false information is prohibited.
So it appears the one person who signed up for the public hearing portion is not here. Okay. Okay. All right, so the time is now 6:51. Our meeting officially starts at 7 p.m. So I'll give everyone a few minutes. We'll do a roll call. Assemblyman Zaccaro, did you want to speak?
Okay, let's see. Okay, Cynthia Rodriguez is in person. Rich Reynoso is in person. Is Veronica here yet? Okay, Veronica's in person. Hazel Muir is in person. Harry Santaella is in person. Cadian here. Okay, to be determined. Ryan Bartel's in person. Patrizia Cambria is in person. Junior Campbell's in person. Stacy Ann is in person. Dr. Diallo. Okay. Alex is coming late. Rabbi. Cadian. Okay. Kenneth Gelnick. Wendy is online. D1 is online, I believe. D1, yes. Okay. Debbie is in person. David Levitt is in person. Kadera is going to be excused. Juan, don't know yet. Jackie's in person. Dimaj is online, or is he online? Okay. Naomi's in person. Susan Perez is in person. Shred Hammond Purdom. Okay. Juanita was excused. Joanne Rubino, I think I saw. Okay. Oral Selkridge to be determined. Lisa Soto to be determined. Deer in person. Joe Thompson to be determined. Sandra Unger in person. Lisa Valola in person. Janice Walcott is in person. Dwayne Williams is in person. Jeanette Wilson is in person. So we do have a quorum. Yep, that's 22. Present. We do have one remote person counts towards quorum, so that's 22.
One more call for the public hearing portion of the meeting. Okay. So then I'll turn it over to Assemblymember Zakaro. You have to turn on the mic.
Can we all hear me? Amazing. Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Assemblyman John Zakaro, and it gives me a great pleasure to represent this community in the New York State Assembly, and it's so great to see all of you. For those who have not seen me as of late, of course, I am just finishing up my legislative session in Albany, and really excited to have passed a state budget that reflects what our community needs and desires the most. And I'm going to go through just a few of those points in my report tonight. First, I want to thank Community Board 11 again for all that you do. I was actually really excited to join many of you, a weekend ago at the Juneteenth event that we held there. And I got to say that that event was so encouraging to be able to walk out and see so many people from the community join together. And more importantly, how much it's grown over the last couple of years. So I want to thank all the organizers and the community board for spearheading that effort in our community. Legislative update, some of the things that we've been working on in Albany. This past session, I myself introduced over 30 bills, with several key ones having been passed through the legislative session through the assembly. One of those bills that would require smoke detectors in multi-unit residential buildings. So for those of you who don't know, prior to this law, I know there's some feedback. I don't know if you can all hear me. But prior to passage of this law, it was not mandated that residential buildings that have one or more dwellings have smoke detectors in common areas of the building. And many of you know we faced a devastating fire a couple of years ago over on Carpenter Avenue, where we saw a fire that went on to an adjoining building, and the devastation that came out of that. As a result that, a smoke detector did not go on where the fire started in a common area of the building. So really happy that that passed. And the Senator Jamal Bailey, who was the Senate sponsor, had also gotten that passed as well. Sorry, is that the noise over there, Bobby? Okay. And another one that we got passed through the assembly would restrict cannabis storefronts near schools and places of worship. While that law is already in existence, what my bill does is essentially close a loophole. For many of you who see the new affordable housing or market rate developments that are coming up around our community that have ground level commercial space, those spaces often get rented out and leased to grocery stores or childcare facilities or schools and even some houses of worship. And in the cannabis law, those buildings were not specifically listed as those that cannot be open near a cannabis dispensary. So this law essentially would close that loophole and ensure that cannabis dispensaries are not allowed to open near those particular facilities that are within 500 feet of a school and 250 feet away from a house of worship. And one most important, one of the pieces of legislation that I was really proud to get through this year will recognize Little Yemen in our community to be recognized as a cultural district in the Bronx and in the city of New York. And so what that essentially would also do is open up that community and that cultural district to be able to receiving funds for cultural activities, for businesses, and creative arts programs as well. So we were able to pass that legislation as well as recognize for the first time in the state of New York. I was the first assembly member to bring up the Yemeni community and recognize them for what the state and our inaugural Yemeni American Heritage Day in Albany. And we have many from our community that joined us for that time, and really excited to be able to have getting that all through. I'll go through some really quick budget wins: $37.6 billion for public schools, with an additional 1.4 billion going to foundation aid to support our students. Many of you saw the Bell to Bell, which was a ban on internet-enabled devices in schools, also known as the cell phone ban, that will essentially give local municipalities and school districts the ability, well, we're all one school district in the city of New York. And so I will close as I have 30 seconds in letting you all know that we will be having a movie night under the stars that is going to happen over at Parkside Playground, and we have information for that. And with that, I want to wish you all an amazing 4th of July holiday. I know you're ending your session for the summer, so I look forward to coming back and giving you all some updates and seeing you all in September and throughout the summer. Thank you guys so much, and God bless you.
Do we have any questions for the Assemblyman? Dear?
Thank you, Jeremy. I just had a quick question about the actual implementation for the cell phone ban. What does that look like? Because I've heard about this in other districts around the country, but not a lot of what it's going to look like.
So how it works, and New York City is pretty unique because while this is a statewide policy, this is going to be, school districts are allowed to implement what that policy looks like, right? But New York City is considered one school district, so the same policy is going to be implemented for the entire New York City public school system. And so how that is going to work really is going to be up to the chancellor and up to the superintendents that will have those conversations. But I'm happy to get the board more information on the actual bill and the legislation so that you can take a look and see exactly how some of that is going to be outlined. Did I answer your question? Yeah. So while you may have heard that these were issues in other around in other states, like I said, whereas it pertains to New York City, schools that are outside New York City it's going to be left to the school district to determine what that policy is going to look like in their own respective school districts. Obviously, we recognize that all schools and all systems and departments are not all created equal, and they certainly aren't one size fits all. And so different school districts have different needs. But New York City as a whole is one school district. So I'm sure we'll be looking in shortly on what that's going to look like in terms of the rollout. But that rollout is going to happen for this upcoming school year in September. Any other questions?
Dr. Diallo? No.
I just want to know, I just want to know what impact will it have
It-
on shootings going around hold on, hold on. Hold on.
Is she?
Stop. You go.
Okay. I want to know what impact will it have on shooting around the school? The banning of the cell phones. Yes.
So
No, all right.
this is why I'm in government and not technical assistance, guys. But so her question was she wanted to know how the cell phone policy was going to impact shootings in schools. Is that correct? I mean, look, I think one of the reasons why we thought that this was important to do and something that we've seen the success is because the reality is that children are distracted in the classroom. And we can't expect our children to learn if we're going to allow them to be on their devices and have access to their devices during the school day. And so I actually think that it might prove to have tremendous, positive impacts for how students are generally interacting in school in general. We know and we've seen that electronic devices in schools have a negative impact with students being able to communicate, the use of social media, and a lot of the things that are happening throughout the school community. And so when students are able in some cases to communicate while being in school, I think that opens up the doors to more conflict in some cases, whereas not having cell phones means less distractions and less opportunity for violence after school time. Anyone else? Okay.
I understand that it's going to have a good impact and positive result in the school system in your state. But I feel that we already have in some of the school I work at, we already have this policy in place where students come in, they put the cell phone in the basket. They cannot communicate at all until it's time to go home. So I just fear but with this random shooting around the school, how are we going to save our children? Thank you.
I agree. I think the issue of school shootings is a big is a big issue. I mean, we could have a conversation about guns in general, and why those things flood into our communities. But one of the things that I'm also proud to talk about that we also passed legislation this session, and the governor actually just signed the bill today that would establish the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. And we hope and that will go also with $100 million investment into programs, that would help hopefully be able to get us on the right direction towards ending gun violence as a whole in our communities. And so this is an investment that we made. It's legislation we thought that was important to do. The governor signed the bill today. And so I look forward to figuring out how we can make sure that we're investing some of that money in our community to handle the issues that we have with gun violence in our communities.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
All right, so the time now is 7:07 PM. We will move on to the official meeting, starting with the gallery session. Speakers receive an initial 2 minutes of uninterrupted speaking time. Those registered in advance called upon in the order they registered. Just as an aside, I ask everyone to please bear with us. It's our first time here. I think the space is beautiful. And we're just working out the kinks. And if we end up coming back for another meeting, we can always bring our own equipment. So I just ask everyone's patience while we, figure it out. First person registered to speak is Daddy AJ Ramos, whistleblower. He's not here in person. All right, so we can circle back. Grecia Antello, are you online? Nope. Okay, so we'll circle back there as well. Okay, Brian Adams. The gray button right there on top. Yep. The gray one right on top of the,
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's about, I'm going to talk to you about, the event on August 5th, first Tuesday of August, National Night Out Against Crime. It's happening at Morris Park and Thompson Avenues, Loretto Playground, okay? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fabulous. It's gonna be interesting. And I hope it doesn't get rainy. I hope it doesn't get rained out like last year. Okay? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be food and information, and a bouncy ball or two, and information about all the police and fire and sanitation, and probably the army, and the FBI probably will be there. Not too sure about it, but my crew it's going to be early. My crew is going to be arrived there early, about 2:30 or 3 o'clock or 3 o'clock p.m. to set up the tables. There's going to be about 30 to 35 tables total. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Until now, enjoy your summer, enjoy your 4th of July, and I'll see you in August at Loretto Playground. Thank you. Bye-bye.
thank you, Ryan. So actually, now that we're on, Jeremy, last year you and I went, and I think Naomi was there. Are you planning on being there this year? Okay. Do we have anyone to volunteer to table with Jeremy? Okay. 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 So if someone is available on that day, I don't know if I'm working that day or not, so I don't have my schedule that far ahead, but all right, awesome. Because we have pens, and we hopefully will have pens and magnets to give out by then. All right, thank you, Brian. Next is Abdus Shahid.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, for giving me opportunity to talk. My name is Abdul Shahid. I'm living in Pelham Garden. I'm new to Pelham Garden, actually. When I say something, say something. What are you going to say? Right place to say. I think right place to say community board. My area is Wood Hall Avenue. I have a big house with 80 by 100 lot. And big house, not many people living, everybody outside. House all the time is empty. When I coming home, I see a lot of worksheet from my house. The only thing I know that because when I see something, when I saw, then they put clean. Nobody see it, they leave it there. Very, very, very nasty, the area. I requesting board to put a sign on it, to clean that dog sheet and fine on it. Then people can worry about it cleaning this. That's the only thing I request.
So droppings,
not dropping. They bring the dog in front of the house, a dog shit, and they take the dog out without cleaning.
Okay.
They're
Jeremy,
supposed to clean this thing, you know. Everybody supposed to clean it.
can you send Jeremy an email just so that we can follow up with you on that?
Thank you so much.
Do you have it? You have the email
I get
address?
it from him. I
Okay.
can call him and take it from him.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. David Levitt.
Good evening. My name is David Levitt. I'm a member of Community Board 11. I want to start by echoing Cynthia's remarks about this location. It's wonderful, and I hope we do come back. It's beautiful. Because Einstein is okay, Bronx House is falling apart, but this is wonderful. I wanted to ask Jeremy about the district service manager, the cabinet minutes. Because in March, you posted the minutes, but then there are no minutes for April, May, and June. And I wanted to ask when those would be available for our review.
Well, first of all, you don't have to wait for a public meeting to ask me. You can always send me an email. You can text me, call me. First of all. Second of all, I know we have draft forms. I know I have even the attendance up for May. I did email Chris the attendance. If you haven't noticed, we're behind on minutes in general. So at the very least, I'm getting the attendance up like that. I did email Chris the June attendance. I know that didn't get published yet, but tomorrow, whatever, that will at least will get published. I'll check. Harriet's been helping me with the minutes. I think she did Harriet, I know you're online. If you want to jump in, I don't know where we're up to right now. Hello? In terms of typed minutes, but we do have draft forms, so we will get those up.
So
It's kind of a summer project at this point.
so it's fair
Cynthia
to
and
say that
I have already talked about it.
that we should expect the minutes and we'll be getting them soon.
Yes, it's a summer project.
Thank you.
David, I also would like to respond. He already beat me to it, but just as an FYI, in the back of my mind, that was the summer plan. One of the things that I mentioned at the last meeting is that we have, I believe it's next week, we'll have a summer youth employment person in the office. I think it'd be useful to have that person working on committee meeting minutes and full board minutes. We can teach them how to do that, or at least start, which should free up Jeremy to get on the DSC minutes. Yeah, thank you. Grace?
Like to ask for extra time. Hello, hello. Yeah. So. Oh. Is it on? Okay, there we go. Can I have extra minutes, in the one extra? Okay.
Go ahead, Grace.
Okay. At the June 2025 Ethics Committee meeting, my complaint against Deborah Kowalik and Veronica Castro was supposed to be resolved. However, the whole meeting turned into a farce. I stated my case against Veronica and Debbie. I explained how at the Transportation Committee meeting, I was tag teamed by Ms. Kowalik, a vital member of AIM, Ms. Castro, treasurer and secretary of AIM, Jean DeFrancis, founder of AIM, and Larry Moriello, president of Allerton International Merchants. But it fell on deaf ears. My complaint was about the conflict of interest and abuse of power wielded by Ms. Castro and Ms. Kowalik, along with their sidekicks, Jean DeFrancis and Larry Moriello. They lied about my event, the Allerton Food Festival, that I wanted to put together for the community, and said that I was trying to steal it from the Allerton merchants. They implied that I needed to come to them for permission.
We're not gonna talk about that right now. You have to
This,
refer
this
that
is
to
my
ethics-
time.
Yeah, but you have to refer that to the ethics committee. Send Jeremy an email.
I think your best bet at this point,
So this,
Your
I need to
best
get
bet-
this out on the record.
your best bet at this point
Wow.
is to
And this
send
is
it
the
back.
problem.
Grace?
Nothing gets done.
I understand, but it has to go either through the committee. If the committee did not resolve it appropriately or to your satisfaction, it should go to the borough president.
How am I gonna go? Then I'm gonna have to go to the borough
Or
president
COIB, you
because
can go to the borough
if the
president, you
ethics
can go
committee
to
has no
COIB.
ethics, how can they resolve this when they coddle the members and don't hold them accountable for what they do,
I
what they did?
I
There's no
completely understand.
consequences whatsoever, and this needs to stop.
Understood.
There needs to be consequences.
Understood.
And shutting me down is not a good look for y'all, okay?
It's not
not
about
good.
shutting you down.
It
It's
is
about
shutting me down because
redirecting
I
to-
should have my say at my time.
Okay. This isn't the forum to argue.
I'm
I'm
not
just
arguing.
trying, I'm
trying to get my
trying,
time.
I'm trying to redirect you
Mm-hmm.
to speaking here in front of us with regards to the ethics committee, regarding an ethics committee issue should be handled in the ethics committee. Now, if the ethics committee didn't handle it appropriately, and that is your valid feeling,
Mhm.
then your next step is to either go to COIB or go directly to the borough president's office.
That's the fox guarding the hen house, okay? They're not gonna do anything.
Okay. You can also go to leadership as well. Okay? Thank you. Carol Bailey.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Carol Bailey. I'm a nurse at Montefiore Medical Center. I am here because I'm a member of this community. Where I work at Montefiore, I'm the only nurse who still lives in the Bronx on my unit. Everybody has decided to leave. Not because they don't love the Bronx, but because they find it easier and safer. I'm here because of an issue that has arose in my area. The children, Ding Dong Dash, has become a quality of life issue for me. As you can see, I cannot, my mobility is at this point is a little bit off. And every time they come and ring the bell and leave, it's an issue, but that's not the problem. It kept escalating. Now they came, I got them on ring, and they broke a $3,000 door, the glass and the door, both inside and outside. I went up to the school because I saw the kids, they are children, and that makes it a lot more difficult. I went to the school to speak with the principal. Yes, to speak with the principal about it, and he could not tell. He said he's not getting involved. Okay, I don't want him to bring the child, but he needs to make a public announcement to make sure the children that they know they're not supposed to do this. I need to speak with members of the police department to see what they can do, because the police officers who came to my house said they cannot do anything. So what does the community do about something like that? Thank you.
What did the officers say?
This incident happened on the 24th. We called the police.
Of June?
department. Yes. And two of them came out. They took a mediocre report. It was never filed because nobody can find it. That's number one. The following day, what was left from the door, my door, I can see you, you can't see me, and I saw the kids coming back. It creates, because now we have four of them. It's one of me. So you create a sense of fear. I called back the police department that day, that evening. I called my nephew, he's retired member of the police force. He said, call them back. This is another incident. I called them back. The police called me. I called them around 7 p.m. They didn't call me back until almost 1 a.m. They call me and say there was no injury. So they're not coming out. The following morning, my daughter said, so something have to happen for you to come out. That don't make sense. That, you don't feel safe. But the morning, 2 officers came out that gave me faith in the NYPD. They fill out the proper paperwork. He gave me the proper advice. That's why I'm here. He let me know it's very difficult to prosecute children. But something has to be done. The community cannot be held hostage to this situation.
So we're gonna take it, I'm gonna walk over there and get your information so we can follow up for you, okay? So I'll come to you in a second.
Okay. So for those who are online who couldn't hear or had trouble understanding, we have a member from the community who's got some children who are ringing her doorbell, disappearing, being, mischievous, but at the same time, they're damaging her property. And she hasn't gotten any resolution from the police department. So she's coming to us to see how we can help. And we are going to get her information and follow up with her.
Just reaching out to the community because it's not just Carol Bailey, my home. People do the same thing, but I don't go out. I look at the camera and I see because I'm not going to do that. My niece is a type that will go. Someone came onto my property yesterday and she went to them and said, there's signs that say do not trespass private property. He goes, well, I want to look. No, it's not your property. They haven't done damage, but I'm telling my niece, and I just say the same. You have the ring, look, don't get up, don't look. And if it's recording, please continue doing that. But what I'm saying is if it's happening in other places, we need to let NYPD know because I know there's about 4 or 5 middle schoolers that come and do that up my driveway, up my staircase, up and down, and I watch. I come out, they curse me out, I go back inside.
Thank you. I'm going to circle back to Kevin, the lawyer. Did you want to speak?
Because I watched the meeting last week and I want to speak about like St. Raymond's Avenue, real quick, and you guys can discuss the data, but it's a dead end street. Can I reclaim my time? Going now. Ready? Anyway, St. Raymond's Avenue, right? So it's a dead end street. We know that city property. I guess it's it's a street. So you want to make it private land, I guess. So the application has a private holding on it. So just like parkland, you want to take city property and turn it into private land. Just think about what that could mean. If you want to connect it to like Bally's wanting to take parkland. But there's also 3 other dead end streets down there. And I don't know why this one is more important than any of the other 2. One of them may have been taken over for the homeless shelter or the house, the building being built next to it. So there's only 2 left, 2 dead ends, which are no problem. But they also lead into a street called Cooper. And if anybody's not aware of Cooper Street, that's part of St. Raymond's here. It's a street that comes off Westchester Avenue along the railroad depot there on those dead end streets. So they're not really dead end, the last 2. And, the auto places use them for their parking. Now, those streets may be, the DOT should discontinue using because to get onto Cooper Street, there's actually a pole for the subways that blocks the entrance. So I don't know why St. Raymond's is so important for this business. And just think about that. That's it. That's all I have to say. I kind of looked into that today.
So Kevin, Rich will be addressing that in leadership report.
Also, the applicant is online, so if they want to respond in the chat and put anything in there, that might be helpful too.
Okay. Before I close the gallery session, I'm going to circle back to Daddy AJ Ramos. and Grecia Antello. Okay. Gallery session is now closed. We'll move on to our elected officials. We'll start with Bronx Borough President's Office. Kira, you're unmuted. Or unmute yourself.
Hello?
Hi, we hear you. Go ahead, Kira.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person tonight. I just want to report a few updates from our office. We have several summer concerts coming up. I'll share the flyers in the chat. We had a conflict resolution training a few weeks ago with chairs and district managers. So thank you for that. And it's something that we're working on getting for board members, probably first committee chairs, because it's hard to do these trainings with such a large population. But we're working on setting it up with committee chairs. We have a meeting tomorrow with the Office of Cannabis Management. I'll report back on how that goes. And we're going to be doing new appointments over the next 2 weeks or so. So we'll be sharing those new appointments with the office, and people will hear from us via email. So that's all I have for now. And I'll put my contact info in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilmember Feliz's office?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole Aguila, and I'm with the Council Member Office of Oswald Feliz. For a legislative update, I wanted to report that today we had a hearing for Intro 30, which will require third-party food delivery companies such as Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub to provide safe e-bikes to all delivery workers. And this will help tremendously to help the council member combat the fires that are caused by uncertified lithium-ion batteries that has been happening throughout the city. As far as events goes, we do not have any upcoming events, but we are gearing up for future backpack giveaway and school supply giveaways as well. And as soon as those dates and times and locations are confirmed, I will be sharing them in the future meetings. If you're signed up to the newsletter, we will be sharing it through that medium. If not, we will, you can definitely just call us here at our office at 718-842-8100, or you can reach me via email at N as in Nancy A, G as in George, UILA at council.nyc.gov. And we are currently available Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. to serve our constituents at 573 East Fordham Road. Thank you so much for having us here, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, Councilmember Marmorato's office, Mark Nias.
Good evening, Chair, members. My name is Mark Knightis. I'm the Director of Budget and Legislation for Councilwoman Marmorato. I want to apologize for not being there in person this evening. We were downtown voting on the budget today. And given my title is Director of Budget, all things to do with my department. I want to happily report that we met with the NYPD Commissioner about 3 weeks ago. And we're happy to report that we will be getting more cops in our districts, in our precincts, come this August graduation class. We're going to focus on towing cars. We're in the talks of bringing the quality of life team to the Bronx, to our district specific. So we're really excited about that. It was a really productive meeting that the councilwoman had with the commissioner. We're still waiting on DSNY to roll out how they will reimburse constituents who have purchased the garbage pails. We'll follow up with updates as soon as they come in. As we close out June, move into July, we have some upcoming events. I won't share them here, If you would like more information, you can reach out to our office at any time. Thank you for being here, and I will drop my info in the chat.
Thank you. Any questions for the council member's office? Councilmember Riley's office?
Hello, everyone. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good night. I don't really have any major announcements for right now, but we are working on our summer events. So as soon as those are finalized and I have the flyers, I will be emailing it to everyone who I have contacts for. And if you would like for me to have your contact, you can email me at kbolt@council.nyc.gov. So that's kbolt@council.nyc.gov. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Mayor's office, Alina?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Alina Dow, Bronx Borough Director for the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs. I just wanted to first thank you guys, and then the mayor wanted to thank you guys for all that you have done throughout the year as a community board. Please know that I am not going on summer sabbatical, so if you need me, I am available. Also, I just wanted to let you all know that I have, me and your district manager, Jeremy, and a board member, we went out, we did a walkthrough. It was good, right? So, but I do want to make sure that everyone on the community board is aware. It's not safe to just go out on your own, maybe, taking pictures with, sort of being like detectives, what we do, because some people, especially a lot of people now that are doing illegal vending or illegal car washing, they can become aggressive, and we don't want anyone to get hurt. So please make sure you go through the proper protocols where you put the complaint in, you share it with the district manager, and then obviously then he's going to get with myself and with the NYPD and all of our agencies to go out there properly to address these issues. So I just wanted to make sure that I shared that with you all. Also, if there's any questions that you have, please, you can reach out to me, but I do want to make sure that you also respect and you go to Jeremy. My phone number is 914-446-8393, and my email is adowe@cityhall.nyc.gov. I did hear some of the people in the public gallery. Jeremy, please include me in any follow-up with them. I would be more than happy to assist, whether it's with speaking with the teachers or NYPD. And you guys have a wonderful summer.
Thank you. You too. Ryan?
I can't hear Ryan if he was talking.
He's trying to turn on his mic.
I had a quick question. Anytime that I have raised any issues about the quality of life things, I've been told to submit a 311 report. And when you submit a 311 report, anecdotally, at least I've found that ones with pictures get acted on more appropriately and more quickly. So I'm not sure how to handle those conflicting pieces of advice. Most folks affecting NYPD will tell us to submit a 311, but if we submit a 311 with a photo, we might be putting ourselves in danger. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I really couldn't hear you. You were a little broken up. I mean, Ryan, I know that you were in touch with myself and Jeremy regarding the car wash and some of the other concerns with the bike. If you want, we can, talk about this offline because I really couldn't hear what you were saying.
Okay, I would like to have it on the screen, so we can talk about it later. That's fine. But whenever I raise this sort of issue with NYPD or just about anybody, they say that we should submit a 311 request. Anecdotally, I found that 311 requests with photos tend to get acted on more quickly and more appropriately. So I'm not sure how to rectify those two pieces of advice. On the one hand, we should submit a 311 request, and on the other hand, you're saying that we should not submit photos because it could be potentially dangerous.
Well, yeah. So of course, I mean, 311 works. I work with people all the time. My entire office with just 311 complaints. Photos are great, But and I was speaking about you. You put yourself in danger. They were threatening you. They could have attacked you and really hurt you. It's one thing to take photos, and not be so noticeable. We're not police. I'm not an officer. And when I take photos of things, I take it, far away and maybe zoom in with, technology, but I don't go up there blatantly and, sort of, go as if I am policing them, because they do feel, threatened, and they might not understand what's going on. You were there. We took a walkthrough when I was myself and when I was with the officer and DOT. When we went and we spoke with them and we shared who we were, and Jeremy was there, they moved out of the bike lane and they also apologized. So I think it's also the way that the way that we do things, and there's a proper way and there's a safe way. And what I'm just saying is, you handled yourself the way that situation with you. We just want to make sure that other board members don't put themselves in a safety risk. That you could take a photo is great, but we could say, please take it from a distance. Take it so that no one notices that you're doing it. Maybe if that's what you feel that you need to do, but just having a 311 complaint number works perfectly fine. I get them from all over the community, whether it's from an illegal smoke shop or it's someone parked in a bike lane. We do get 311 complaints that don't have photos. So, but I just don't want you to put your safety at risk. And I think that's really important for everyone, even for myself. I don't think that's something that is okay. And I know that you just so happen to do it. And because of this, because it happened with you, I did want to bring it up with the community board. And then since you mentioned it, I did it for you. If you take the photo, please take it in a safe enough way so that you're not put in a situation where they're threatening to hurt you and harm you.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, moving on to the controller's office. Anyone from the public advocate's office? Anyone from the Bronx District Attorney's office? Anyone from Representative Ocasio-Cortez's office? Anyone from Representative Torres's office? Anyone from Senator Bailey's office?
Hello, can you hear me?
If you can speak a little louder.
Hello, can you hear me? Is this better?
Yes.
Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Carmen, Special Assistant at Senator Bailey's office. Just one quick update. We have our annual summer barbecue coming up on July 19th in front of our office, 959 East 233rd Street from 1 to 4 p.m. There will be music, food, snacks, and beverages. And to RSVP, you can call our office at 718-547-8854. And if you need any other assistance, you can contact us there, or you can email us at senatorjbailey@nysenate.gov. That is all.
Mic check, mic check. I think it's low. No? It's low. That's a little better. That's better. Yep. Senator Fernandez's office. Senator Rivera's office.
Hello. Yep. Hello. Good evening with everyone. My name is Albert Mundaca. I'm Community Affairs Representative and Communications, I should say, from the Office of the State Senator Gustavo Rivera. I want to share that State Senator Gustavo Rivera and the State Senator James Skoufis announced that they will hold a joint Senate public hearing to conduct an in-depth examination of the transition process of the popular Consumer Directed Personal Assistance Program, better known as CDPAP, to a single fiscal intermediary. This hearing will allow lawmakers to assess decisions made by the Hochul administration and the selected fiscal intermediary, PPL, during the ongoing transition. Further, it will provide an opportunity to hear from stakeholders, including healthcare experts, consumer advocates, fiscal intermediaries, enrollees, and their personal care assistants on the issues faced across New York State related to this transition. The public hearing will be held on Wednesday, July 9, starting at noon at 250 Broadway, New York. Please, if you want to have more information or if you want to bring a testimony, you can reach out to our office, 718-933-2034, or send us an email to grivera@nysenate.gov. Thank you.
Thank you. Assembly Member Alvarez. Assembly Member Benedetto's office. Assembly Member Heasley's office. Assembly Member's office. And Assembly Member Zaccaro's office already spoke, so. Underneath at the base. No, under the mic itself. Thank you, guys. Okay. Move to the chair's report. Discussion of motions on the agenda are limited to at most 4 questions or comments by board members. I'll start with the Bronx Puerto Rican Day Parade. It was on June 14th. I believe we were the only community board that was there. I think it was me and my kids. So I was the only board member. Kids, my partner, and a former community board member, but it was raining and we still had a great time. When the floats and all the contingents arrive at the main area, the staging area, they did acknowledge us, our presence there. So for me, that's a big deal. So that was even though it was a small group, to me, a success. Our Juneteenth event was last week, and I think it was the largest attended yet. I thought it was amazing. Once again, we had a lot of people from the community board, from the community, who chipped in to help with everything from decorations to cakes to just about anything and everything. I do have to give special acknowledgement to Councilmember Marmorato because it was her funds that, helped heavily in us being able to make it happen. The food was great. The people were great. We had some dancers. We had board members who chipped in. So my goal for next year is to have the biggest yet. And I think next year I would like to enlist the help of, board members who better represent, what Juneteenth is about. I'm a Puerto Rican woman, and I did my best to be honorable and authentic to Juneteenth, but I would like more of our Black brothers and sisters to kind of help out to make it happen in a more authentic way. So that's all I'll say about that. It was a great day. Thank you. And as I mentioned before, when David spoke, we do have a summer youth who will be starting work at the office for the summer. I'm excited about that. I think it's important for us to kind of give a little bit of background to our youth. They're completely disengaged these days, and a lot of them don't even know what we do. So maybe it'll help. Maybe we'll have one of them apply for the board one day. So I'm happy about that. Social media, I think it's important. We need to tighten up
our social media presence. I think that there is some confusion or just some miscommunication. We had a social media committee. The social media committee went kind of by the wayside. I did discuss with Jeremy recently that my preference is, at least right now, for Jeremy and myself to be the ones kind of in charge of the social media unless someone else wants to, volunteer. That is a lot of work. It may not seem like it, but every time I get emails, I'm cropping photos of flyers and things like that and just posting stuff. So it's a conversation for us to have. I'm not talking about recreating another committee, but sorry, that was in that. So that's, further discussion to be had on that. Term limits will be upon us very soon. So, even though it seems a ways away, I know that there are people here who've been here for a very, very long time. And you're the ones with like back information and the history. On many things that have to do with our community. And I think it's important, bearing in mind that term limits will be here before we know it. It's important for us mentor one another moving forward. I think that, we, sorry. I think that we become accustomed to old habits and, we don't realize that maybe it's time to start preparing the newer folks to grab the torch from you. So moving into September, I would like to see more mentorship between us all. I think there's been a divide for a very long time, and I think we've been bridging it slowly but surely, but I want to see it a little bit more. In terms of meeting structure, we had a recent situation with, I think it was Ethics Committee. Just in general, I know that a lot of the things that have happened in terms of our ethics complaints can be in some way, shape, or form traced back to things like structure. I don't want to get into the minutia of specific complaints and this one did this one did that, but I think that if we stick to structure, sticking to Robert's rules, it will alleviate a lot of the miscommunications and the confusions and just the back and forth. It's important for us to all to just stick to that, and hopefully we'll be seeing that soon over the summer. So that's just my 2 minutes on a soapbox, and are there any questions, comments, or objections? Okay, I will turn it over to the secretary. No, treasurer.
The June Treasury Report has been submitted and is currently published on the website. We don't get the June Friends of CB11 statement until next week or the week after, but in the interest of making sure everything's in line, at the leadership meeting, Jeanette did return the $300 deposit for this year's Juneteenth event. Jeremy went ahead and made a deposit shortly after that. That is registered and visible on the treasurer's report now. Anything else that shows up on the June statement, I will update it once we get it in and have the revised version put up. But for right now, since we know what happened at the deposit, that's what we put up on the website. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. Now I'll hand it over to Lisa.
I'm getting myself a nose job. Hi, good evening. Unfortunately, we don't have any minutes. We are working on them, trying to catch up. So hopefully by September, we have caught up to everything. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, so, well, first of all, when I emailed Chris, I don't know if you, when I emailed you DSC minutes on the 12th, the last DSC meeting I had, that was actually for May. So I just got done. I just saw I'll send you June soon. So that's for the attendance. So my apologies for that. 1, 2, Loretto Playground. So we got notice that it looks like, so I've been pushing for the basketball court, and I know Camellia from the Morris Park bid has been pushing for the renovation of the playground. So the basketball courts, you know, they have big, like, it's like an earthquake. It's bad, okay, but they have these big cracks in the ground. I got word that part it's going to, that is a project that they're going to be on. I want to thank the Morris Park Community Association for sending the report. This is one of the things I'm pushing with the DRI funding, the panel that I've been selected by the Borough President's Office to serve on. That's one project that we're concerned about. We want to make sure that these big entities don't consume this $20 million. So that's one among many things. Remember, the funding is for the Pelham Parkway. So de-escalation training. So Kira more or less touched upon that. I've been meaning to email the board about that. Rich and I went to this training together. Cynthia couldn't go. But it was very clear by those in attendance that more people wanted training, especially for the general membership, not just the chair and the district manager. There's more that I can say about that, but I will hold off. I'll send you an email. We do have a new board member's bio, Kadira. Lowe's bio is up on the website. I'm still waiting on some of you who promised to do bios. And do I need to emphasize why bios are important? Everybody gets that, right? At this point, right? You guys are public officers of the city of New York, right? Who do we represent? We represent 130,000 constituents, approximately. So I started this. This is one of the things. We're one of the few community boards throughout the entire city that does this, right? That says, hey, who's Rich? Hey, who's Cynthia? So if you have a bio, at the very least, on file. In the past, I got a board member, they got honored. They told the congressman's office to call me. What are you talking about? I've been pushing you forever for this. At least get us something on file, please. Okay, street lighting request to be determined. Forget exactly where that location is. Right turn on Red at Pelham Parkway in Stillwell was denied by Department of Transportation. Vandalized a bus shelter, thanks to Chair Rodriguez, who emailed me about that. That was fixed. They said why. I can send out the denial to everybody if I haven't already. I feel like I sent it out to everybody. So the request is something that. So as most of you know, most of you who drive probably know in New York City, you can't make a right turn on red. Whereas most places throughout the United States, you can make a right turn on red. Especially once you go north, can you do it in Long Island? Probably, right? Okay. So prior to the renovation of Pelham Parkway, you were able to make a right on red at Stillwell. I think it's because of the reconfiguration of the street, it's not possible. Vandalizing. There also used to be the bus shelter before the light. I think it's after now, isn't it? That's probably the other reason. Avenue. I know a board member complained to me about this recently. Holland Avenue and White Plains Road is very bumpy. All right, whether you're riding a bicycle, if you go down the road, or you're driving a car, it is extremely bad. I drive down there a lot, unfortunately. It's bad. It needs to be resurfaced. White Plains Road site visit. Alina brought that to everybody's attention. We did have a site visit. Look, I got the owner of Key Food on Allerton. We got the Allerton Merchants Association. We spoke with one of the food vendors there. We had the mayor's office, the NYPD, and DOT. Arguably, nobody walked away happy from that meeting, other than me, because something's better than nothing. It's a start. Unfortunately, in my line of work, it's baby steps, right? Even though we actually move quicker than the court system sometimes. More to be continued, yes, and then Cynthia has one more thing she forgot.
So one of the things that came up recently is that we've spent a lot of time this term on negative things. So we talked about it and we took Rabbi's suggestion to try to be a little positive. So today we spoke about it and we wanted to acknowledge 2 board members who have not missed a single full board meeting this year. I'll do it alphabetically. So the first one is Deborah Kwalik, who has not missed a single meeting this year. So this is a citation of appreciation to a Community Board 11 member for commitment and dedication in attending the general monthly meetings of Community Board 11. The other one is Ms. Jeanette Wilson. So thank you both and keep up the good work.
And just to be clear, they've come to every single meeting in person, right? Because this board values in-person attendance better than anything, so they've not missed a single meeting in person. Committee meetings, I can't speak for any of you people, okay? So, all right, Rich, leadership?
Now we're going to the fun stuff. We have a bunch of motions. 5 motions, probably 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to motion to limit discussion for 5 minutes on each of these motions. Okay. No. That's fine. So the first one is a motion of no objection for the Class C appointment of Jeanette Wilson to the White Plains Road Business Improvement District Board. So I have to Google real quick. I want folks to know what a business improvement district is. Everyone. A business improvement district is a defined geographical area where businesses and property owners collaborate to fund and manage improvements and services to enhance the area's economic vitality and overall quality of life. For the White Plains Road bid, Malcolm Gray is in charge of that. And we had a conversation during leadership last week, and we nominated Jeanette Wilson. We discussed it, we voted on it. Now we're bringing it to the full board. So I'm going to open it up for a vote. Any discussion? Hearing none. Okay, that was 30 seconds. Yeah. So I'm going to go to anyone object? Anyone abstain? That's one. There's one and one refusal. So Jeanette recused herself and Naomi abstained. All right. The motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have a motion. Okay. Next, we have a motion of no objection for the Board of Standards and Appeals special permit application for 2550 Eli Avenue, aka 1920 East Gun Hill Road, Bronx, New York. BSA calendar number 2025-05.BZ. So we have the folks here online. They're going to quickly present, but just a high level overview. It's the old diner by Pelham Bay near Home Depot. They're going to build a Starbucks there, and they're asking for our permission. So they're gonna present real quick. I think if you have any, 2 minutes, right? Yeah, 5 minutes.
Hi, I'll be very quick. You can all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell everyone why I'm here today. So we met with the Board of Standards and Appeals, who likes to hear with the community board first. This is a special permit at the Board of Standards and Appeals because as of last summer during City of Yes, all C districts except for C8 require, if you want to just the drive-through portion, you have to get a special permit at the Board of Standards and Appeals. It's not for the restaurant itself. The Starbucks can be there, but if they want to have a drive-through, they have to go to the Board of Standards and Appeals. And when you go to the Board of Standards and Appeals, you have to come before your community board to hear any concerns or conditions that you may have. So that's why we seek support for the drive-through portion of this Starbucks. It's going to have an 18-car queuing. I think it's in a great location for a Starbucks. It's right off of major highways and on the way to work for a lot of different people. And we're just asking for your support to do this drive-through in this location.
Thank you. Right. Any discussion? Go for it. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. It's my fault. All right. I could have warned you, my bad. My question is if they have done a study to figure out how the drive-through is going to interact with the highway and that exit that comes right out on Gun Hill Road, and
Yes.
the traffic that comes from Gun Hill Road.
So there is a
then
study.
how
Yeah.
that's going to impact the neighborhood that is right. Let me just finish. Yeah. It's going to impact the neighborhood that is right there off the exit that comes from the I-95, right? And then the elderly home that is right next to the proposed Starbucks. Good question. Go ahead.
So yes, a study is being done, or it was done, and then a subsequent study with extra, because they did ask us to look at certain points even further. So we're doing that now. A first study was done for what we think the point should be, and then they told us back. So we have a traffic engineer who's looking at that. But I would also like to say that typically, I work on a lot of different Starbucks. The most queue people will wait in line for, and Starbucks has studied this, is 14 cars. There's an 18-car queuing, and there's even more room past that to do even more than 18 cars. So I don't imagine that any backup will happen from the drive-through, because I don't know about you, but I would never wait in a 25-car queuing. I think there's a lot of parking spaces on the site. There's like over 30, so people can park if it's a really long line and they can go in. So there is more than ample room for queuing, so we do not anticipate any overflow.
Mike, well, first of all, I'm not sure now whether the study was done or it will be done.
There was a study done about certain spaces, and then during the BSA process is kind of how it works. They look at what we studied and they asked us to do further studies in different areas that they asked for. So that was done after the first hearing. So now the traffic engineer is looking at the locations that the BSA recommended that we look even further.
So we don't have that information now before
You
this
have the
vote,
first
correct?
study in your BSA, because that's what we submit with the application, the study that we do that shows that there's ample room. And then I can tell Jeremy, we submit it again. This is just the way the process works, is we get your recommendation first, then we go to the Board of Standards and Appeals second. So they ask for further studies and we can submit those to the board, no problem.
So my concern stems from what I see happen in the Starbucks that is on Eastchester and Morris Park, where there's a line that does, I'm sorry, madam, you have to let me finish, where there's a line that does obstruct traffic. And my concern is that, this area in Gun Hill Road actually has more traffic and more cars going through than the area on Eastchester Road. So being that you have that second study that is coming and that we don't have that information, I don't know how we can make an informed decision.
Can I speak?
Go ahead, Wendy. Yeah. Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
for sure. Go.
So,
Yep.
Juan, I live in that area. And before, there was a diner there with a huge parking lot, similar to the Royal Coach. So the traffic that I think you're thinking about, as you talk about the Eastchester Starbucks, I don't anticipate that happening in that area, because we had to deal with a diner for so long until they closed. So I don't think there should be a problem with that. I understand if you would like additional information, but I live in that area and I have to pass that area every time I go to 95. And it's not going to be an issue.
I live in that area too, and I lived there when the diner was there also.
And the diner was a different type of business, a different type of situation. First of all, it did not have a drive-through.
That's the only
Second of
difference.
all, people would park in the parking lot and then go into the diner. So it did not impact traffic as badly as it seems. And I don't know because I don't have that second study, as it seems like the Starbucks might impact it, based on how the Starbucks in Eastchester is impacting the traffic.
But there's
Lise,
also
quick
a
question,
hotel
because
over there
I
too,
think,
but I don't
I
feel
think
like.
we're done with, we're done. I think we're done with the Q&A, guys, let's focus, please, we're almost there. So 5 minutes are over. I'm gonna ask Elise, is it possible that that we are brought to the table for the next traffic conversation when we go to the next approval? What's the next steps?
So this
Is this
first step
finally
is
yeah.
I was supposed to last time I presented to the land use committee get a recommendation from your board, because the first step is getting a recommendation from the community board. Then I went to the first hearing and they asked what your recommendation was. So I told them I spoke with your board and you didn't do a recommendation. So then I went back to the land use committee and I asked for a recommendation there. And now I'm back in front of your full board asking for a recommendation. And so the next step is you give your recommendation to the Board of Standards and Appeals. They use your recommendation to recommend themselves, what your concerns are, you can put that in the recommendation. So that's the first step. And then they ask for further studies, because we did find that we have ample room. 18 queuing is way more than I've ever seen on a Starbucks. But they asked for additional stuff at the first hearing. We provided for them. And then based off of your recommendation and what they asked for in additional information, which I can provide to you, they make a decision.
Yeah. So for folks, we have the diagram and the link. I don't have time. The motion's on the table. I'm gonna go for a vote either way. So our Q&A is done. We're gonna move to a vote. All right. So discussion's closed. I'm gonna go with abstentions first. You want to abstain? Abstentions. 11. Keep it up, please. We can take a tally.
I need names for the abstentions, please.
We got you, Harriet. Oh, Joe, Adian, Stacy, David, Rabbi, Sierra, Janice, Susan, Zach. Got him. Oh, Pat, Dr. Diab, and Lisa. Okay. Okay, got it. All right. Any nays? Nays. Thank you. Surprise. One's a nay. All right. Everyone else is a yes. Well, if they haven't done anything, they're a yes. Yeah. So I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. This is the third time she's been up here. So you either have to go to committee or read the agenda and come here prepared. You don't have time to assemble this whole thing live, because we only have 5 minutes. So I know we're not sure, but I think sorry for her, she wasted her time. So you have to go to committee, you have to pay attention. That's the same with economic development, Well, oh no, they're counting it right now. 1 second. Because we're going to be unsure about a lot of things moving forward. There is. I know. Yeah, I hear you. What do you mean? We'll see. Demaj, why are your hands up? Please say something.
Did we go with objection? I didn't hear.
Speak up. I can't hear you.
I know you mentioned who abstained and
No,
who's
we did. We did.
okay.
We did. Yeah.
What about objection? Are we
We
going with?
did that too.
Okay, well, I raised my
So
hand for
we're,
objection.
you're objecting?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right. So what's the split?
Motion passes. So I'm gonna do this. We're gonna rotate when she sends out the next informational packet. We're gonna make it priority that everyone gets it, but please read it. And the next time we'll add more minutes to the discussion. All right. 5 minutes was too short. I get it. All right.
And just so
Next is-
sorry, just one last statement is when I
Yep.
make the next submission to the Board of Standards and Appeals, I'll call over to the community board to make sure that you all get it.
Please do. Or
Yeah,
we'll
I'm just
hunt
letting you
down.
know so you can tell everyone to.
All right, thank you. Next, motion of no objections for the St. Raymond Avenue demapping application. We're gonna take this motion back. Do you want to explain why? Right, explain why? Okay. It's, yeah, we need to do a public hearing and we need to do that by what, July? So by July 28th, we need to do a public hearing on this demapping application. So we're going to remove this motion from the agenda. Any questions or comments or anything else you want to talk about with this one? Yes.
If we have to, oh, thank you. So if we have to have the public hearing by July 29th, when does the board have to vote? Does that mean we're going to meet during the summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
This wasn't ideal. I think this request just came in and this is the time. Go ahead.
To that, the leadership committee could have an emergency meeting and vote in place if we're not able to hold a full board meeting. So
Okay,
make it a
so
little
that could
bit
work.
less onerous.
Yeah. Go. Nice, man.
I think what, Ryan, if I might just add to that, I think the bylaws say that when the board is unable to meet, I think it's the executive board that can vote, not the leadership committee. But if we have to have a full board meeting,
And the last thing we want to do is drag everyone back in. If anything, the leadership will take the head. If not, the executive board will take the head.
literal leadership has the authority according to the bylaws. I think it's the executive.
And that's fine. We'll, wherever needs to meet, we'll meet. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, the last thing we want to do is drag everybody back. Any other comments or questions on this one? So that was back there. Next, a motion of no objection for the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee's flow chart. Yes. Wait, just tell me which one. Bylaws?
Haven't voted on.
Bylaws, we're not there yet. Sandy, my dear, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Sandy, we're not there yet. It's all good. You're next. All right. Keep that energy for the next one. Motion of no objection for the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee's flow chart. I'm going to open this to discussion, but I'm definitely afraid of asking if folks have seen the flow chart. Has everyone seen it? Okay. Any discussion or questions? Apparently. I don't believe. Okay. All right. I'm going to move to votes. Any other? Okay, I'm going to move to votes now. So any objections? Any abstentions? Okay, we got one. Alex abstains. Joe Thompson and Naomi abstain.
Okay.
Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, next one. Last but not least, motion of no objection for the new Ethics Committee complaint form. Opening them for discussion.
Hearing none, moving to voting. Any abstentions? Naomi's 1, Alex is 2. Anybody else? Anyone against? All right, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. That's it for leadership. We're moving to bylaws. Sandy, you ready? It's okay. Ron, here.
Thank you. Okay, so we have 4 motions up for bylaws. Don't know if I can assume everybody has looked at the amendments online, so I'm going to go through these as quickly as possible. The first one is Article 5, Section 1, and the committee description of the CB11 bylaws. We're merging the Bylaws and Ethics Committee, so it will now be called Bylaws and Ethics Committee. It will be moved under the standing committees and removed from non-standing committee for bylaws. A combination of the description is available in the amendments. I'm not going to read that. There's only changes that it says to initially, bylaws and ethics, to initially review of bylaw amendments which have been proposed in accordance with Article 9 of these bylaws and complaints lodged by board members. So it's basically the same as the ethics was, but we just added that line for bylaws. So we'll open it up for discussion. Okay, seeing no discussion. Any objections? Any abstentions? We have an abstention by Alex, 1 by Naomi. Okay, motion passes. Okay, let me get to the next page. Sorry, I marked these so we could do this faster. Okay, so the next one is motion to amend Article 6, Section 13A of the CB11 bylaws, putting a total time restriction of 6 minutes on each full board gallery session speaker. So it will now read. Each gallery session speaker at full board meeting shall receive an initial 2 minutes of uninterrupted speaking time, may respond to at least 4 questions or comments from board members. The question and answer period may not surpass 4 minutes, leading to a total time restriction of 6 minutes per speaker. Further speaking time must be approved by a majority vote of the community board. That is how it's now going to read. Opening it up for discussion. Seeing no discussion, any objections? We have an objection by Naomi. Any abstention? Abstention by Alex. Okay, motion passes. Third motion, motion to amend Article 6, Section 13B and C of the CB11 bylaws, merging the 2 sections requiring full board gallery session speakers to register 36 hours in advance of full board meetings, except for a minimum of 10 in-person registrants. So now it shall read, for full board meetings, each person wishing to speak in the gallery shall complete a registration slip which shall be kept on file at the community board office at least 36 hours in advance of the meeting. The slip shall include the speaker's name, organization, if any, and the subject matter they wish to address. Completion of the slip obligates the speaker to comply with Section 12 of these bylaws, the community board's code of conduct statement. The exception to the 36-hour registration requirement will be limited to 10 paper slips available for in-person speakers, which must be completed prior to the start of the meeting. The chair of the board has the discretion to allow additional in-person speakers. Opening up for discussion. Okay, seeing no discussion. Any objections? So we have objections from Kadian, Naomi, Ryan, Pierre. And I think that's it. And do we have any abstentions? We have Alex abstaining. Seeing no others, motion passes. And the fourth motion is to amend Article 6, Section 13C of the CB11 bylaws, creating a new section that requires all full board gallery session speakers to be called upon in the order in which they register. So Section C simply states, all speakers shall be called upon in the order in which they register. Opening up for discussion. Okay, this just says all speakers shall be called upon in the order to which they register. So yeah, it's not just specifically to the full board. It's any gallery session. Opening up for discussion. No discussion or any objections? Any abstentions? Alex is abstaining. Okay, motion passes. And that are the bylaw amendments. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Who's next? Economic Development, Juan.
Now I come in peace. Can you hear me? Now, better? All right, great. No, I come in peace. Yeah. All right, so we have one liquor license renewal for La Parranda located at 2712 White Plains Road. Our motion is to send a letter of no objection to the liquor authority. We checked with the precinct and there were no complaints about La Parranda. There were no members of the community during the meeting that had any objections to sending a letter of no objection for La Parranda and their liquor license renewal. Any discussion about the motion? Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you so much.
In accordance with the CB11 bylaws, we are having an election tonight for treasurer and sergeant of arms. Both positions are 2-year terms, commencing tomorrow, July 1st, 2025, until June 30th, 2027. Nominations for both positions were opened in April and closed in May. Therefore, the two candidates, Veronica Castro for treasurer and Harry Santiella for sergeant of arms, are running unopposed. Ballots must still be distributed because there is a write-in option and separately an abstention option for both positions. Both candidates submitted their statements of intent, which was distributed to the board via email on May 5th and May 22nd. Therefore, the names of both nominees, Veronica and Harry, will appear on tonight's ballot, which will be distributed via text message to the board subsequent to any questions you may have. Remember that Article 4, Section 4 of the bylaws states that a majority of the appointed members present voting prior to elect a candidate to office. Voting will be by closed ballot, subject to interpretation of Article 7 of the New York State Public Officers Law, and later printed in the minutes. Any questions?
Is your mic on? Okay, try to move closer to it. I think we'll hear you better.
Good evening, everyone. So our budget,
Get closer.
you hear me?
Now.
Good evening, everyone. So our budget and priority meeting was on 6/25. And as we spoke about the last time, we are still doing survey.
Go on, Stacy.
We are still taking survey. The needs for our district, like a survey, or you can reach out to Jeremy, Cynthia, or myself to get one. And we're asking that everyone to return these by our send us your request by July 3rd, right, Madam Chair? So, like, want to know that
I appoint Dwayne Williams as my co-chair. And you back and what Cynthia said about our Juneteenth event, which was highly successful. Would like to thank all our
We're losing the audio. We can't hear anything. I don't know if you guys can hear us, but there's no audio.
thank all the constituents that came out. We are grateful and thankful for all the help. And thank you. Notice will be going out shortly to everyone. Thank you very much. And thank you, Madam VP. Thanks for the help.
Education, Culture, and Youth Services.
So we had a great presentation from the director of the Van Cortlandt House Museum, which is a colonial era house in Van Cortlandt Park, talking about their programming and a little bit what they do. The director also invited members of the community board to join the community advisory council, which communicates with them about programming that people in the community would like to see. As soon as she sends me that more about information about that, I'll forward that to the rest of the board. Also, the museum invited all the members of the community board to come for a tour of the museum, which I thought was really nice. Jeremy sent out an email to the board asking for information about what dates people would like to do the tour. So I invite anyone to please respond to that. I think it would be great. It would be a fun event. So, please respond to that email and let me know when you'd like to do a tour. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Jeanette, Ethics and Disciplinary. Oh, that's right. Formerly Ethics and Disciplinary.
Good evening, everyone. I would just like to start by saying thank you all. I'm very happy to see us merge with bylaws. I think it will just help us to really continue to progress and strengthen the foundation for the entire board. I would also like to say that there has been a lot of fussing back and forth about who's ethical and who's not ethical. So one of the things that I did is I Googled what is the best definition of ethics. Ethics at its core is the philosophical study of moral principles that govern behavior. It explores what is considered right or wrong, good or bad, how individuals should act in various situations. It involves not just personal beliefs, but also the systemic reflection of those beliefs and their application to conduct, both individual and within social structures. One of the things we have done in ethics, as you see, is we spend time and effort in changing the procedural flow and also in changing the form. And we did that so that we could be more effective. We are very happy to be dropping disciplinary because we are not a disciplinary entity. At best, what we are going to do is suggest corrective action so that we can all grow and improve as individuals and as a board, because we are here to serve the community. And that's our focus, and that's where our focus should be. In our meeting, we also reviewed 3 of the cases, and we do feel that we came to a resolution. The resolution was not punitive. The resolution stated that not just the individuals that were called out and noted in the complaints, but we as an entire board have to change our culture and have to focus more on positivity and moving forward and focusing on the issues. We are not always going to agree, and that's important. That's why we are a diverse board. If we agreed, it wouldn't make any sense to me, because we'd just be rubber stamping one thing after the other. It's important that we all bring our own perspectives, and that's what they are, and that we agree or disagree, but we work things out and we come to a resolution that serves the community. It's also important to know that we're human beings. We're all going to have agendas, but some of our agendas we have to leave at the door. And we are going to like some of our fellow board members, and we are going to dislike some of our fellow board members, and that doesn't matter. Because when we're here, if we form friendships, that's wonderful, but it's a bonus. We're here to serve the community, so the focus should be on respecting one another, respecting the community, and moving forward so that we can all do the work that we volunteer our time for. Thank you and have a good evening.
Readings. Yeah. Did you say?
Okay, so I'll move on to Health and Social Services, Madam Borough President. Madam Borough President. When I'm gonna turn it over to Sandy, whenever you're ready, give me a little signal and then we'll turn it over to you.
All right, I won't be long. We had 3 people come to speak at the Health and Social Services. One was from Bold. She told us about the Bold Cancer, comprehensive center that runs out of Einstein. And she explained what a comprehensive cancer place is. It's more than just giving, the thing. They do so much more than just giving support. They give support services. It was wonderful. And anytime we need her or you want to speak, we can make arrangements. The other person that came to speak was Dr. Boudreau from the Bronx Developmental Center, what you formerly knew as Bronx Psych. And he spoke about the new wellness center, what it intends to do, how it will help the community. It's not for the patients of Bronx Psych. The wellness center will really be for the community, and they will open up their doors to the community. And the third person that came was from Bronx Legal Services, and she spoke about what Bronx Legal Services does, how they help, especially her emphasis this time was on the veterans and how they can be helped if needed. So I felt it was just a wonderful meeting. And that's it. So, President, it's all yours.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, Community Board 11. Thank you so much. As this is the last meeting before we break for the summer, I certainly wanted to come by this evening to say thank you so much. First, I recognize that due to last Thursday's fireworks show at Orchard Beach, that's the reason why Community Board 11 is meeting tonight. So thank you so much to our chair and members of CB11 for attending. It was a wonderful event. as we prepare for the Independence Day weekend. We always want to recognize the birthday of America and the freedom that we have because of so many of our military and military families that have served and made the ultimate sacrifice. So it was a wonderful event, and we're so grateful to have partnered with the Parks Department, FDNY, NYPD, the Community Board, Bronx Tourism Council, and VXCDC. So we say thank you for that. Prior to that, in May, I want to acknowledge that we had Bronx Week, which is our 13-day recognition of all great things Bronx. And we really highlighted tourism. We had a number of events during the 13 days. One of those events is our annual Community Board Appreciation. We usually have it over the summer in August, but because of Bronx Week, we thought it would be best to have it held in May during Bronx Week. So we thank everyone that was able to come out. And this year, we paused to recognize all of our chairs of the Economic Development Committee, which is a very, very important committee that drives a lot of development when it comes to economic opportunities, job growth, everything that we're doing as an administration to really focus on income inequality. So I want to recognize our chair of the committee and really all of our chairs of the committees. Just a couple of points that I wanted to make, and I have flyers for all of you tonight for some of our upcoming events over the summer. Because although we are breaking for June, you know that we are working all summer long. I do want to acknowledge that the New York City Council and our mayor announced on Friday the passage and agreement on the budget for FY26, $116 billion. The New York City Council members voted on it today at City Hall. So we are going to be making a series of announcements of a lot of funding that we were able to secure in the adopted budget. With the start of our new fiscal year tomorrow, July 1st, the city council members and I partnered on a lot of projects together. So I look forward to many of the announcements in concert with our council members here in the Bronx. A lot of great things on education, economic development, legal services, more support for working families when it comes to childcare, daycare, very, very important. There's a new pilot that's going to focus on 2K, UPK, 3K, and now 2K. And it's starting just to focus on 2-year-olds with real access to childcare for many of our working families. Childcare is very expensive. So I'm glad that the city council really fought for that. I'm also very, very proud that Governor Hochul and our district attorney, Darcel Clark, were together today because the governor signed into law legislation that will create a new state office of gun violence prevention. And that is modeled off of the one we have in the city of New York. It's called the Mayor's Office to Prevent Gun Violence. We do a lot of work with NYPD, the Credible Messengers, a lot of the anti-gun violence organizations like Stand Up to Violence, SUV, that is here in the district that comes out of Jacoby. We work with all of the groups, and Councilmember Riley is also looking to expand in his council district on adding a new catchment area for his constituents. So I'm very grateful for that, because we can always keep striving to make sure that we end gun violence. June, we recognize as Gun Violence Awareness Month. You may have seen that we had a partnership with AZEZ. They are a volunteer-based organization of students, middle school, high school, and college students, and they volunteer. And we had several dozen young people that volunteered on a new partnership that we embarked on earlier this month called Don't Dump on the Bronx. Very simple, because we want to make sure that we increase in quality of life, and we make sure that we address sanitation. We help the Department of Sanitation, and so we embarked on a series of cleanup events all over the borough for June. We just had our closeout ceremony today, but I'm really proud that the entire organization is led by volunteers and students. So we gave out awards today, and we're looking forward to working with AZEZ again. I have another partnership that I started in July with the Sanitation Foundation and the New York Yankees. And we identify neighborhoods across the borough. We pick up tons of garbage, debris. And at the end of the summer, we identify the neighborhood that picked up the most trash, and they are treated to a Yankee game at Yankee Stadium in one of our suites. So I believe it was 2 years ago, Morris Park won as the neighborhood that picked up the most, and we were able to go to a Yankee game. And we really want to provide incentives to make sure that people are a part of cleaning up our neighborhoods because it's a shared responsibility. So I'm very grateful that we had that partnership with the ZES because we believe when you talk about ending gun violence, cleanup, planting trees, all of that are important components as well. I want to recognize, as you all know, RI initiative for round 8, the $20 million that we received from the state of New York. We now have a local planning committee, an LPC. I am one of the co-chairs along with Lisa Soren, who is the CEO of the Bronx Chamber of Commerce. Together, Lisa and I are co-chairs of the LPC. We have a number of stakeholders and organizations, the business improvement districts, White Plains, as well as Westchester Square and Morris Park. Community Board 11, our district manager is a member, the Van Ness, the Morris Park Community Park Association. There's a lot of organizations, including the NYPL and Bronx House. And so we've already had 2 meetings of the LPC, and now we are going to have a series of public hearings across the greater Morris Park community, Community Board 11, and parts of 10 in Westchester Square, where we want to get ideas from the public on how we can spend $20 million. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to spend every dollar. So I want to make sure we get great ideas because it's a start. It allows us a chance to really take advantage of state money that they are giving to our borough when it comes to economic development, beautification projects, public space, open space, pedestrian plazas, park upgrades. $20 million, of course, does not fit the entire bill, but it does send a very, very strong message. And I'm very proud the Bronx has not received DRI money since 2015. So 10 years later in 2025, I'm so grateful that the greater Morris Park was the recipient of that. So we'll be in touch with more of the upcoming hearings that we are having. I also want to recognize, since we're breaking for the summer, that July is Fibroid Awareness Month. It's something that's very deeply personal to me, and fibroids affects a lot of women and a lot of women of color. And so we're really amplifying the voices of fibroid survivors. We're working with an organization called Fibroid Fighters USA. They're located in New York City. They do a lot of work around education, around screening. We know the signs of fibroids, so we've been encouraging women to please visit their doctor, talk to their primary care doctor to make sure that we identify the signs of fibroids. And we really want to make sure we amplify the voices of those that have been affected. Now the school is out. We are actively promoting a lot of the summer events, from summer camp, Saturday Night Lights, the NYPD Options Program. Summer Youth is going to start very soon. Summer Rising, the New York City Department of Ed program, is going to also start this week. So we want to make sure young people are as involved as they can be. So we are creating a resource list that will lie on our website, but we'll also do a lot of social media on it and get it out to as many parents as we can, because we know some this is not affordable. So we want to be able to offer as many free programs. Summer pools, the pools are open, the beaches are open. We have lifeguards that are working. We have a lot of opportunity, and we want to make sure that everyone truly takes advantage of that. I recently testified before the New York City Council about community boards. There are some pieces of legislation that have been introed in the council that we are taking an active position on when it comes to the term limits that are coming up in 27 for board members, when it comes to other changes, but how we can improve community boards with better support. Right. One thing I'm very clear on are mandates that we are given as a borough president without any support. I'm all for reforms and improvement and making community boards work even better, but I need the money to hire the staff and I need the resources, because right now we are stretching very thin when it comes to what we have available. And at a time when we're not seeing budgets grow, it's really hard to make sure that we oversee 12 boards without any additional funding. So we testified before the City Council, the GovOps Committee, state and federal legislation, along with BP Richards, BP Reynoso, and BP Levine's office as well. So all of us are working together to try to make sure we're on the same page as we can. We're issuing our demographics report on New York City Comptroller and the Mayor's office, I believe tomorrow by July 1. Finally, let me just mention the upcoming events that we're having. we are having a Disability Pride event in July on Monday, July 7th at Borough Hall. And this is our event to work with our Disability Advisory Council. I do a lot of work for people with disabilities, including job fairs, career fairs, making sure that we have accessibility all over the borough. So we have a Disability Advisory Council that will be involved with this and bills and other organizations. So it's really going to be a great event to really support our disabilities. Summer concert series that all of you have seen every year. We are launching that on July 5th, I believe, at the Fordham Night Market. And then we will have a series of summer concerts at Orchard Beach in Section 5 near the handball court. And then we'll travel around the borough. I believe we're going to Bronx Park East, Soundview, Van Cortlandt Park, Ferry Point Park, and then we're going to end at our finale in Co-op City. It's 9 weeks, every Sunday and possibly a Saturday, but we're very excited about that. I forget who talked about veterans, but we are having a Veterans Career Fair on August 1st at Borough Hall. It's a Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we need to do more for veterans. And you know, I have a Veterans Advisory Council. I work with all 15 American Legions in the Bronx. November is Veterans Appreciation Month, and not just a day. We did that with Councilmember Eric Dinowitz. So we want to do even more for veterans. I'm going to announce before September a new initiative with the mayor's office and the New York City Department of Veterans Services. I'm going to have an office for DVS at Borough Hall. I'm creating space for them so that if any veteran or military family needs support, they don't have to go downtown. They don't have to go outside the borough. They can come to Borough Hall and they can get the services. You know about our Future Forward initiative, which is our partnership with the Department of Labor. So they are the ones that help us with job and career fairs. They have a database that's statewide. And we invite many applicants, and we're focusing on people with disabilities, veterans, many of our young adults that are over age and they really need jobs and other programs out for that. And then we'll have another one for that in the fall. And I thank you all so much. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that we are in the season of graduations. I tried my very best. I think I went to 30. I usually do 50, so I'm under my goal, but that's because of Tuesday. But I went to about 30 graduations across the Bronx. I have a lot of money, about $10 million in this adopted budget for schools. So I will be making more announcements with our schools across the district. District 11, as you know, I work closely with the CEC. I make 2 appointments to the CEC. So we have a lot of work. I also have an appointment on the panel for educational policy, PEP. So we are going to be working with them. I have an appointment on BERS, the Board of Ed Retirement System, as well as NICERS too. I have a board member as well. So we have a lot. This is going to be as light of a summer as possibly can, but we will definitely be around, and definitely will see you around at a summer concert or any other event. And so I really thank all of you. I thank everyone who has been a part of this process when it comes to voting, 9 days of early voting, as well as Election Day. I am so grateful to be the Democratic nominee for Bronx Borough President. I look forward to representing you. I thank you so much. This has been a long campaign for many reasons, but most importantly because of the fact that this is the first election that I have been a part of without my mom. My mom transitioned last August 1st, so I'm getting ready for her 1 year. My mom will be right at my side, and this year was a little different. So it was very emotional for me. So I'm so grateful that the residents and the voters of this borough not only see our work, but appreciate it and support and stand with us. And that means more to me than you'll ever know. And so I thank you. We may not always agree on every single issue, but one thing I need everyone to know is that I am here to join you in making the Bronx even better than it is. I'm very intentional in everything we do. Nothing we do at Borough Hall is ever personal. This is about the business of the Bronx. And at the end of it, it's not about all of us. It's not about us as individuals, but this is about our borough. So I say thank you. Thank you to TV11 for holding a Juneteenth event. I really appreciate that. I thank you for the events that you have held to recognize our cultural diversity. We were just together on Saturday at the Yemeni American Day Parade in Little Yemen, and that just speaks to who we are. We are a beautiful borough of diversity, and we celebrate that. It is a strength. And we acknowledge that we come from different places, but we all want the same thing. So I appreciate you, Community Board 11. I look forward to representing you. I look forward to more opportunities, and I wish everyone a wonderful and amazing summer season. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for the borough president?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I tried to be brief tonight. Be brief, be bold, and be.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Stacey Ann, did you vote? Oh, you did, okay. Did you? Okay, so if anybody wants to, you can use mine, or if anyone wants to help them.
Okay, housing, land use, and sanitation and environmental protection. No, not yet.
All right. I'll go for housing real quick, and then when you can jump in after me. We had VRC come and present at our meeting. They'll be taking over the old Apple Bank. It will be affordable housing. Again, it'll be affordable housing. They came in as an introduction. They'll be coming back again. They will be coming in steps. There was no approvals or anything. They were just introducing themselves to the community. And they said they'll be back whenever they need to, twice a year if they need to. And do you want to add anything?
Just that we're in the very early stages of the BRC. There were a lot of questions that we had regarding syndication and who the lender would be and just the type of affordable housing. So we're just waiting for them. I saw an email today with some answers, but not exactly what I was looking for, but it's a start. So to be continued. They will come back probably in September, October, once they have new information.
Yeah, so I did want to add, just to elaborate a little bit on what Rich mentioned, it's about a little over 100 units. The income is less than 27,000 a year. They are all studio apartments. And I believe that once everything is ready to open up, I mean, it'll take them a couple of years, but once everything opens up, I believe it'll be through Housing Connect. And as Wendy said, there's still a few other questions, but again, it is as of right. Debbie?
Yes. 9 stories. Parks and Rec. Janice.
Good evening, everyone. Parks didn't meet this month, however. What we want to do is just continue to fight for playground, to make sure the funding stays where it's at. We have funding of our elected officials, Bailey, Sakaro, and Riley. Okay, we hope to continue to get what they promised us. But other than that, I say everyone have a wonderful summer. Okay, God bless. Take care.
Rabbi?
Okay, good evening, everybody. So first of all, I would like to thank my wonderful Transportation Committee for their help throughout the year, and hopefully we're going to accomplish a lot in the next year. Secondly, I'd like to congratulate the Borough President on her resounding victory, and we're very lucky to have a Borough President like that. Next, now we go to transportation. So you're supposed to have goals in life. So the first question I'm going to ask to our esteemed district manager is, why was that right turn denied? That right turn on Stillwell and Pelham Parkway was there about 15 years ago. when somebody stopped it. And I've been looking at that, and people, when they come across from the 12 bus, do not walk on that side of the street. They usually go on the other side because the bus leaves them on the other side. So there's no reason in the world, to me, why that was denied. It makes the traffic move quicker, and it should have been accepted. So I will try to write a letter to the DOT, which hopefully, I don't know if I have to make a motion for this, that to ask DOT to review and give a reasonable, I don't know, reason why they denied that. Next, I think we have the following transportation problems in our district, and we're going to try to solve some of them. Like the chairwoman said, we can't conquer the whole world, but we could try to. There is double parking all over this place. All over this place. And in front of schools, you must probably need like a helicopter to go down some of the blocks to go over there. And nobody's doing anything about it. I've applauded to, I believe, the councilwoman that says towing is going to come into our neighborhood. They better bring in about 300 tow trucks to get rid of double parking, parking in front of fire pumps, which is a big thing. It's on the news. And I hope, because I've been told, and I might be wrong, and the borough president might know more than me, to get a car towed, you have to first get them a ticket, and then you got to call a tow company. And before that happens, you know, it could be the end of the game. It could be the ninth inning. Game is over. So whatever the councilwoman representative said was very interesting. And I think this has to stop. This double parking, and it's just unbelievable. Next, and I guess this is transportation, those bikes that are thrown now all over the place. And my friend here who left sent an email about it, that they're just throwing them. It's not even on a stand. And part two of that is, when you walk down Pelham Parkway, which I did on the Sabbath this week, you are taking your life in danger. With those flying bikes, there should be a sign there, speed limit 50 miles an hour, and half of these bikes would be over 50 miles an hour. Nothing's being done about that. Next, good old Pelham Parkway and Boston Road. The summer is here, but that congestion remains. And we have written to DOT, and we have tried to get answers from DOT. And I could say I'm not a happy camper. I think my committee's not a happy camper. And I think this board should be happy campers. We do not get answers. And I think this has to be fixed. Last but not least, my favorite topic, the MTA. We still have no clue what's going with that Metro North station. Is there parking? There can't be parking. There might be parking. They came. They have beautiful pictures for us. And I think that was close to a year ago, Jeremy, and we've really not got an update. That bothers me. I think that Metro North Station is an asset to this neighborhood, but it can end up being a hindrance to this neighborhood. Because if people can't get there, and if there's going to be no parking lot, which good or bad, whatever, we want something that's going to bring people to the Bronx. Correct, Borough President? And if you have a train station that is going to bring people here, I think that's an asset. But if it's going to be a wasted train station, it's just going to be a decoration. I need one more minute and then I'm finished. Then the other issue is they did this whole new study, the MTA, with all these buses going this way, that way, all over the place. We never got a final report if that, what was it called, Jeremy? The bus reroute plan, something like that. Bus something plan, I don't know. Whatever it was called, we never got a final report on that. That is my report for today, and I hope to be a little more successful next year in getting responses from DOT. Enjoy your summer, enjoy your barbecues, enjoy your concerts, but don't barbecue on Pelham Parkway. Next, I know, Hazel, I forgot something. And another one which I did not get an answer for is the lighting on the White Plains Road and Pelham Parkway on those two bus depots. I wrote an email, and it's writing on Deaf answers. I don't know who's responsible. That is I would say, a very dangerous thing. I got to say something on Starbucks too, because that's traffic. The Starbucks, I'm thinking of this. Who's going to be their customers? The school, the senior citizens, home, and Home Depot. And who else is going to be their customers? I'm going to tell you, they're going to get off that highway and we're going to go pay for coffee in the Bronx because maybe coffee in the Bronx is cheaper than coffee downtown. So you're going to get traffic, according to me, from 4 sources. And you tell me if I'm wrong. The seniors, the school, Home Depot, I've got one, the neighborhood. And last but not least, I'm coming down Route 95 and I'm coming down the Hutch and traffic is not moving and coffee here is $2.50, while in New Rochelle, it's $4.50. And in New Rochelle, I get a smaller cup for $4.50. I think, what'd you say? I think when it comes to it, we got to be very, very wary about that Starbucks. Because in this neighborhood, there's a Starbucks on Pelham Parkway. There's a Starbucks on Eastchester Road. I think Co-op City, I think this is going to end up being a commuter Starbucks more than anything else. God bless you all and have yourself a good day.
Thank you, Rabbi. Jeremy, do you have the final numbers?
I just want a final call. Hello, for people online. So did everybody online vote?
No, they get a whole bunch.
So I'm pretty sure both Lisa's did. I don't know about D1 or Damaj. You should have got a text message. Thumbs up, thumbs down. If you want to abstain.
Ask them again to see if thumbs.
Can you hear me online? Okay. And Damaj, I got thumbs up from D1.
I voted Jeremy. It's there.
Yeah, no, I got you. I don't have Damaj. I don't know if you want to vote or if you want to abstain, Damaj.
I just voted. I text.
What's that?
Yes. Yes.
You voted?
I voted.
All right. Oh, that being said, it's unanimous for the incumbents. Yeah.
Okay. So congratulations to Harry and Veronica. Woo-hoo. Now, any old business? Naomi?
Hi, I just wanted to talk about grassroots. I know we worked with them before. As you know, I'm very into food insecurity, and I wanted to just mention that they need people to drive, just to drive food to the certain resources within the community so that people can get free, fresh produce. So if you can, at any weekend, the summer is when usually they don't have enough people to drive, to go to grassroots.org and sign up. Okay. And I also wanted to mention, no, this is not old, but just wanted to mention also a good resource for resources like for housing, food, job or services is called findhelp.org. 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 And they help, you can put in all kinds of searches and it will give you searches to your community, your zip code, 10469, 10467. I just mentioned that. Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. I will say that Naomi's like been super committed to grassroots since last year, I think. We did one, Dr. Diallo and Ryan and myself with Naomi, we did one group thing and it was great. So, you know, even if you don't go as part of the group, you know, and you want to go on your own, definitely think about it. Is there any new business? Patricia, then David.
It's on there. Hi, I just want to piggyback off of what our Bronx Borough President said about celebrating diversity. On Sunday, October 12th, I'm just putting it out there for the community board. Maybe some representation for the Bronx Columbus Day Parade. That will be great. And I know that you will be shouted out because I work at the bandstand, so people will make the announcement of who's, you know, marching up every school. And our Bronx Borough President is always there. And, you know, we shout out everyone, right? So please join us Sunday, October 12th.
David?
Thank you. I have a question and a suggestion. The question has to do with, I read that Mayor Adams had expanded a program throughout all the police precincts having to do with quality of life issues. And I wanted to see if that had come to the 49th precinct, how we can communicate the issues, how we could have lines of communication, because it seems like something that would really help us. Had anybody heard about this?
Hi. The deputy inspector brought it up at our last 49 Precinct Community Council, and it is coming. It's a little confusing because the NCOs are kind of going to be phased out, and then this program is going to be phased in.
Okay.
And we're going to have at least 12 to 14 police officers that are just going to be concentrating on quality of life.
So is there going to be a method for us to get the information to the precinct? Because we all know where the issues are.
Well, they monitor all of our 311s at the precinct. Okay, so the problem with the 49 is that we are extremely below the number of police officers that we're supposed to have. And this is nothing new. This has been going on for years, but now it's gotten to the point where it's a little critical. So unfortunately, a lot of the 311 calls don't get addressed as quickly as possible because we have other crimes going on that need our attention. So hopefully bringing in these police officers is going to really change that and hopefully improve it.
But it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. Believe me, it's coming.
I just wanted, while I still have the floor, I wanted to switch gears to a suggestion having to do with minutes. I'm involved in other organizations, and minutes are an issue with every organization on the planet. So I wanted to see if we could start a pilot program where we could turn on the transcript feature within YouTube, and then we can take the transcripts from the meetings and run it through ChatGPT. Well, you know what I mean. I can't get the letters out of my head right now. And then we can get the minutes from that because I've used it. It works. There is some effort required, but a lot less than having to write the minutes from scratch. So maybe on the health committee, we could do that, and I would be willing to volunteer to coordinate it. The one thing I would need from Jeremy is, can we turn on the transcript feature?
It actually is on.
So then, would Jeremy be able to provide us with the transcripts after the meeting? Not every time. I've checked because I listen to a lot of the meetings.
I mean, I've looked. I mean, you tell me which ones are not online.
Okay, so let me put it this way. If I'm sitting in a room in the health committee and we ask you to start the meeting, right then we would say, can we confirm that the transcript is on? That's all. And then you'd be able to.
Yeah, YouTube does it automatically. That's when it's live streamed. But even WebEx, I'm able to pull.
Okay, but it sounds like we'd be able to do it. So
yeah, so why don't we talk after the meeting?
Okay.
There, yes, yes. I've actually used it for our minutes, many times. Sometimes there's a delay. So like if I go online tonight to our YouTube and I try to click on the transcript, it may not come up. Sometimes it'll come up like the next day. But yeah, no, that's definitely, I think it's good that you brought it up here so that way anybody who isn't aware of the transcript feature, yes. All right, now with that being said, motion to adjourn? All right, meeting adjourned 9:13 PM. Have a good summer, everyone.